What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I got a blade battle for you. Let's get into it. So today's blade battle is going to be a little bit of a different blade battle, but I thought it'd be interesting, and I do have a reason for my madness, and we're going to jump into that. So first up, we're going to bring out one of the contenders. That is going to be the Bestech Man Ronin. The Ronin has a 3.26 inch 14C 28N blade steel, 4.65 inch G10 handles, overall length coming in at 7.91 inches, and weight coming in at 4.2 ounces, and it actually weighed 4.4 when I weighed it on the scale, so a little bit higher than the claimed weight on the website. Who is going to compete or battle with the Ronin today? I decided to do a blade battle against the Civivi Sikoke. Hear me out. The Sikoke has a 3.35 inch 14C 28N blade steel. Handle length 4.4 inches. Mine has micarta, but you can get it with G10. Overall length 7.64 inches and coming in at 3.8 ounces. So as you can tell, two 14C 28N blade steel knives, two options for G10. Very similar price points too. Let's jump into the blade battle. All right, so we're going to go through Ergos first. We're going to talk about the Ronin. The Ronin has a very comfortable contoured G10 scales sitting on top of full steel liners. They are milled to, or they are contoured to fit flush. So it does feel very comfortable. You can feel that they're there, but it's not uncomfortable. It's very comfortable to hold this knife. Very skinny profile, G10 backspacer with a lanyard barrel, and it is not reversible. You just have a right hand only, which I think is a little bit of a miss on Bestech Man's end because you have an ambidextrous lock. This could very easily be right hand, left hand carry. Having said that, pocket clip works really well and it does not impede the ergos on this knife. Very comfortable to hold. Let's go ahead and jump over to the Civivi Sikoke. Contoured scales, nested steel liners, but the contoured G10 or micarta scales, we're just going to say scales, very nice and comfortable in hand, very tall, so it's very hand filling. You do have the matching material backspacer, and it is right hand or left hand carry with a very good pocket clip. They're doing a better job with these, making them a little bit fatter so you don't feel them in the hand, and because of where this one lands, it lands in a spot where it's not uncomfortable in the hand. Really nice ergos on this one. For the ergos, I'm going to give that to the Sikoke. This has a little bit of an indent here. While it does feel good and it is still comfortable, it causes the knife to feel really skinny through this area here for me. And then the same thing here where it's scalloped for the two fingers to land, feels very skinny. For me, I like the fuller feeling of the more flat or less contoured, I guess I would say less contoured scales that you find on the Sikoke. That feels really, really, really comfortable. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the fact that this knife with the nested liner lock is reversible, and the ambidextrous lock on the Bestech Man is not. So usability from a user standpoint of right hand and left hand carry, I'm actually giving that to the Sikoke because the Sikoke can be carried right or left hand. So I really think that's very smart when they can do that, and they do it in a very minimal way where it doesn't take away too much from the knife aesthetically, in my opinion. Now let's talk about the blade. Both of my examples have the black washed 14C 28N blade steel. Both have very thin blade stocks, but as you can see from a cutter's perspective, the one on the Sikoke is a little bit thinner, and it is very similar on how tall it is. So you do have a little bit more height, but your flat grind goes up higher on the blade. So you see here, the Sikoke a little bit shorter, but that flat grind goes a little bit taller into the blade. From that perspective, for me, they both had great factory edges, but I feel like the Sikoke feels like a little bit more slicey to me going through the materials, where I do feel like I need a little bit more power to send that Bestech Man through the material, but it still goes through the material really, really nicely. So it's just a slight edge to the Sikoke because it does have the better overall geometry. In the pivot, you have ceramic bearings that are very, very smooth. Both of them This one here is almost fall shut now. You see how little effort it takes to shake it home? This one here is just going to fall shut, but you do have to time it right to get it to close. You want it to get it almost to where you can feel it hit and then let it go, versus the fact that you can just let this one start to shake home once you disengage the lock. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Now, one thing that I do want to mention as well, so I'm going to give it a tie for action as far as open and closing. Both are very smooth. Both has ceramic bearings. Very, very good action. Both will be susceptible to the same amount of dirt and debris, being that they have the same type of bearings. Now, the stop pin is well located on the Civivi. It is not that great of a location, in my opinion, for the Bestech Man Ronin. It is way too close to the blade's edge, and you can see my disassembly video of this one because you'll be able to see where that actually is way too close. I wish they would have just done it to where it would have locked with this versus that stop pin, but it has to be there, right? That's how they're going to get it to stop. Now, as far as detent goes, I feel like if you like a heavier detent, you're probably going to like the stiff springs on the Ronin. But if you like a well-tuned detent that's not super strong, but you do need to overcome it to open it, you're probably going to like the Civivi. The Civivi feels a little bit lighter, especially after flipping open the Ronin. It feels like it's almost too light, but that's because the Ronin is so strong. So for me, I actually enjoy the detent on the Civivi a little bit more than I do on the Ronin. Now, when it comes to use factor for EDC, I like the Civivi. For hard use, heavy use, I feel like I like the Ronin a little bit better. I feel like it feels more substantial. It feels chunkier in the hand, which is really weird because I talked about how that feels skinny through the scales here, but this feels like it's definitely geared towards being used harder, like it's going to hold up better and going to be more comfortable to be used hard over a long period of time because it's going to help keep your hand in place. Whereas with the Civivi, I feel like you can use this hard, but depending on what you're doing, you do have that wiggle room to where you may slide around. So depending on use will determine who has the advantage here. So to me, I'm tying it up because it really does depend on what you like in that regard. Do you like a more hard use knife or do you like a lighter use knife? Now, price. Let's talk about price because the Bestech Man Ronin is coming in under 50 bucks. The Civivi coming in over 60. Both are phenomenal value, but I'm telling you that the designer, the Ray Laconico name being involved with this one probably has that price up a little bit. I could say that because you do have the Elementum button lock, Elementum 2 button lock that is hollow ground 14C28N, and it has the button lock mechanism on it coming in at $65, where I would say, like, if you had just this blade and this handle and it was coming from Civivi, probably could be under 60 bucks. You probably would see that around 59 bucks, but I could be wrong. So to me, price advantage for materials, locking mechanism being stronger on the Bestech Man Ronin, to me gives it that win in that category. I feel like you're getting really good steel and materials and build quality and toughness out of that knife with that price point being under 50 bucks. And I got mine on a deal of the day for 44 bucks. It might have been 41s, but I'm saying 44 just to be safe. It was like a Blade HQ deal of the day. And I think they were probably just trying to clear these out. But anyway, really good deal either way. So I really do like that a lot. Locking system, I'm giving that advantage to the Bestech Man as well. I like crossbar locks because they do engage with 100% of the tang of the knife. They're very strong when they're wedged in there. That is what is keeping the knife from moving. It is pushing back into the stop pin, and this lock is keeping it down and locked in place, so it is nice and secure up and down. And of course, with the full steel liners, this one here is going to be more suited to hold up better against harder use. So I feel like as far as that goes, I'm giving that to the Bestech Man Ronin. So we went through a lot of stuff relatively quickly. Want to try to keep these videos a little bit shorter because they're just for fun. Ultimately, it's going to be which one do you like better? This one look better to you? Does this one look better to you? Do you like the lock better? Do you like the nested liner and liner lock better? Do you like the, there's going to be, do you like a slicer geometry? Or do you not mind that this one's just a little bit more robust, going to be a little bit tougher? Again, it's going to be what suits your needs. In the end, for me, today's winner, it's going to be the Civivi Sakoki. I just like the Ergos too much. I like this because I can EDC this comfortably. It's going to be nice and thin and light on the carry. It's got a good detent. I like the liner lock on it. I don't dislike the crossbar locks. I think I'm one of the few reviewers out there that really like them. A lot of people will say they like the detent tune on this, but I feel like crossbar locks have their own fidget factor. I feel like, people take away from that, but you don't have to have the thumb stud to deploy it. You really can just fire that sucker out consistently, just pulling down on the lock. I feel like that, that's a fidget factor all its own. But if you like to fire something, the liner lock's gonna be a little bit better. This also, I didn't mention, has 2 means of deployment. So you do have the thumb studs, but you also have a different mean of deployment with the front flipper. Whereas with this, it is intended to be opened with the thumb stud. They really don't intend for people to open it by flicking their wrist and using gravity and momentum to open it. But they both have 2 means of deployment, so I'm not going to argue semantics. But in the end, for me, it was the Civivi Sakoki. I just like this knife a lot. I think it's a fantastic value, a fantastic performer, great EDC, very comfortable ergo, super slicey, great edge from the factory. To me, it's just a home run. Who would you have picked? What knife would you have picked today out of these two? I hope you enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. I like to do these for fun. Obviously, I like both these knives a lot because I picked them up, right? This is my money that goes into this channel, and I picked these knives up because I liked them and they looked interesting and they had fantastic value. And I wanted to review them for you guys and give you my thoughts and impressions to see what you thought, what you agree with, what you disagree with. But in the end, it's all for fun. Thanks for tuning in, and shout out for everyone out there that leaves likes, comments, and subscribes. I appreciate all of the support. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.